everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Miss Blanco. Today is Tuesday, January the 20th. Yesterday was Martin Luther King Day, so we had a student staff holiday, and let me tell you, it was so needed because last week I did not post a weekly vlog, so apologies for that. I know some of you guys are really excited and looking forward to those, but last week was the most overwhelming, overstimulated, the most exhausted week I probably have experienced. And probably the reason why is because we started start prep. Guys, I don't know what it is, but I have never started this early on any of my 6 years. I usually start probably after spring break, so the middle of March. Now that usually sounds really late, but at the same time, previous years my kids were pretty much on level. There was only a few that were so behind, but this year probably 50% of my kids are behind and not on level whatsoever. They're probably like 2 to 3 grade levels behind. So I have to start super early, and my principal pretty much is telling everyone 3rd, 4th, and 5th to start prep now, so that way they can be prepared by the time April comes. And you know why I'm also starting so early? Because in the past, the STAR test was on paper, but not even that, it was in May. So now it's in April. So now we have to start everything pretty much a month earlier, and even more earlier because of how low and just how bad the school's ratings are and how low academic my students are. So definitely we are starting very much the 2nd week of January. Tutorials is starting this Saturday, which I cannot attend just because of family things that I have to do in the weekend. But even then, like, that's still overwhelming for those that are doing Saturday tutorials. Like, I can't do that. Like, Saturday tutorials is a no for me, even if I did have availability, which I honestly don't. But even if I did, I would still say no, because can you imagine working your butt off Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 3:30 pretty much, and then having to do data, having to do all this, having to prepare for the STAR test, teaching small groups pretty much every day, which I am, guys. I have never worked this hard on small groups, and let me tell you, it is not easy. Pretty much what I'm doing is I'm teaching the Bluebonnet lesson from 30 minutes, about 20 to 30 minutes, probably the max is 35 minutes if I ever need to go a little bit longer. And currently we are on module 4. Today we did lesson 9, which was on finding the greatest common factor to simplify fractions to its most simplest form. And then tomorrow we're actually going to do how to compare fractions. I'm going to teach them the academic way, and then finally I'll teach them the butterfly method, just because the butterfly method is not an actual strategy, it's just a trick. But I still want them to know what it is, just because, you know, it does help in the long run, and it will help them to check their work but not use it as a full-blown out strategy. Like, okay, let me just do the butterfly method and let me get it out the way. No, I actually want you to show how to find the least common denominator, and then to check your work you can do the butterfly method. So, or butterfly, is it called butterfly method? Butterfly trick? I'm not quite sure. By the way, I'm filming on my new phone, so if you guys see like a difference in quality from Monday, or not Monday, from Tuesday to Wednesday, that's probably why. I forgot my camera at home. Sorry about the change of location, guys. The fan turned on, so I wanted to be a little bit farther away. You can probably still hear it, but hopefully it does make a little bit of a difference right now. I do want to kind of show you just a few things that I am doing for STAR prep, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera around and show you guys a few things. This is my small group setup with my 5 chairs, my standing whiteboard, and my teacher chair that I found near the dumpster. I desanitized it, and my mom and dad helped paint it black with the colors. I do have this cute little flower chair that my students totally want to use, but I tell them it's for Miss Mary. Now, Miss Mary unfortunately did hurt her back over winter break, so currently she is using a normal student chair just to support her back. On the floor, I do have these 3 white book organizers. I have my homeroom, Miss Caroline's, and Mr. Lolliday's. I have both Group A and Group D for all 3 classes. Mary and I, when we talked about groups, we decided that I was going to do 2 and she was going to do 2, about 20 to 30 minutes each. That way, each student can have practice with math STAR prep so they can feel more comfortable when they actually have to take the Math Star test in late April. This is Miss Mary's small group. We do have 4 chairs here that do belong to the last row down here, but then these 4 chairs are for her. If she ever needs another chair, she can grab one from this section, so that's why we leave them here just in case she needs more. She has her own organization spot down here. She likes to put all of her files in neat. I gave her these file organizers so she can put them separately for each classroom. Always, we are doing our objective and closing. Today we found our greatest common factor to find the equivalence of 2 fractions. So I feel like the kids did a really good job. There's obviously the bottom group that just does not understand, so they will need more help. But overall, I feel like today was a very successful lesson. And by the way, I actually got observed by my principal again. I actually got observed last week, but this week I also got observed and by her mentor teacher. Like, my principal has a mentor teacher on how to become a better principal. So 2 people observed me today. So that was fun. Other thing that I added last week that I did not film for you guys was I went online to TPT and I wanted to see if there were some star games before we do that rock and review thing that I have to go to a training March the 4th. So I'm not excited about that, but I wanted to see if there were some more fun academic games that the kids could play throughout the days to keep them busy if they're ever done with their Blue Bonnet and if they're not in a small group with myself or Miss Mary, because there are sometimes when kids are independently working by themselves. So I found these. There's like actually 10 to 12 games, but I found only a couple. I think these are actually double-sided. So this one is multi-step problems, but the other side is add and subtract decimals and then represent. And then there's also another game here. And then this one is input output tables. And I believe the other side is perimeter and area. Yes. And then I actually gave them the answer key here. So I told them the red keychain has the answer key, so they can also look through and they don't have to ask me for the answers or if they're right. So it's just a little self-check. Now, are these popular? No, but it is there for an option, and I am going to try and maybe do like, okay, we're gonna do star Thursdays. So if they're done with their Blue Bonnet, I want them to do star prep games. Other thing that was added just today, in fact, is the school got these cute little restroom signs. And I know, yeah, like, I know they put it here because that is the location that is on every single door in the school. But y'all, like, they really couldn't do it like 5 inches more down. They had to do it there. I know they wanted to be consistent, but like, really? So there's 2 options. I either keep it like this because, I mean, you can still see the restroom sign, or I move the reef up, which is kind of hard because it is on a command hook, like you guys can see it there. And honestly, I don't want to tear that down just because, number 1, I don't have a refill. And number 2, I don't know. I'm just kind of being lazy here. So let me know, does it look okay? Or should I go ahead and just move the reef up? Because if I move the reef up, there's honestly, I don't know if it'll fit in this space. So let me guys know, leave it or move the reef up or even move it down, because I can't move that sign. The sign is permanently, I think he even, what's it like? How did he even put up there? I don't think he did tape. Actually, I don't know. How is this thing on? Oh, I already took off the reef. How did he? I think it may be with tape because I don't see any like drill holes in there. It's kind of cool, like the braille, but these are like brand new, y'all. So that's kind of fun. And plus, I think he did it crooked. Actually, no, he's good. Now, I'm not sure if I told you guys, but I'm still doing case on Mondays, which yesterday I did not do because it was Martin Luther King yesterday. But I actually am changing from video editing just because it was a lot harder to teach. And I actually am not really in love with it like I thought I would be. So I'm actually going to change to creative design. So I actually did get some paintbrushes and some extra coloring pencils for when we do creative design class. Actually post a picture of the first thing that we did. It was actually really cool. I did case and then we did like the geometric shape. So that was actually really fun. Now, really quick, I want to go ahead and update you guys on the anchor charts. Honestly, I think I'm done with anchor charts. I know there's 2 more modules that I need to do, which is decimals and measurement with, what's it called? Customary units. But I mean, I honestly can't fit any more anchor jars. I could fit 2 there, but the kids don't even look back there. And I could fit, ooh, hold on, let me not make y'all dizzy. I could fit them here because I used to have the multiplication tables down there. But honestly, I wanted to take them off because I didn't want kids to rely. And some kids still look up there, but they're not relying on them as much as before. They actually are learning their multiples. Well, some, okay, let me know, some. And this one, Miss Mary did a while back, like I think a month ago in November or maybe like early December. And I went ahead and put it up there to complete the whole 6 set. Now, y'all, it is crooked as heck. Look at the space here and look at the space there. It is definitely crooked. I'm pretty sure I need to shift this one a little bit and then that will align with it. But overall, it's okay. You can just totally tell a little bit that it starts shifting down just a bit. But you know what? As of right now, it is okay. We do have star prep at the end of the day that we started last Wednesday, and we're going to continue it probably on Thursday because we are actually almost done with the book. Guys, we actually have, I think, 3 more pages. We stopped on 86. We're going to do 87, 88, and then 89 is our last one. So that's going to be so fun. After we finish this book, unfortunately, my principal did say that we are no longer going to be able. About that, a parent knocked on my door and wanted to have a quick parent conference, which I totally did because it had to do with a student concern. So that is done with. But I wanted to say that we are no longer going to do read a lot, instead going to do a math a lot, and we're going to do star-based questions. This was made in 2022, so it doesn't have like the most newest forms of testing. It even has these old grid ones, but nonetheless, I still like these questions. They have everything in terms of decimals, perimeter and area, multiplication. It has fractions. It has stem and leaf plots. Even if we have not done stem and leaf plots, that is module 7. I still want them to get used to having and seeing these and working on them. I definitely just will be teaching them more of this and them actually doing them on their own. I decided to let them keep it in their bin so that way we don't have to spend time passing it out. Parent conference did push me back to 5:20, so I'm going to go ahead and get out of here pretty soon, but I'm going to go ahead and update you. I am putting more stickers for sticker question. And I went ahead and decluttered my geo boards. I had a couple that were a little too tiny, so I gave those to pre-K, the pre-K teacher. And then I went ahead and threw away 2 that were broken on the side, and they were a little bit sharp, so I did not want to cut anybody. And now officially we have only the most basic, I think, class set. The students are definitely loving these. I do have a couple that made triangles and perpendicular and parallel lines. So definitely the students are still learning with geo boards. The last thing that I want to update you guys before I leave, I have my keys ready to go, is we do have a little feeding program for about maybe 2 to 3 days per week. The school does get a little snack lunch. So I do give these little snack lunches to my students during read a lot. So that way, while they are reading for 45 minutes, before it was 30, now it's 45, they can have a little snack to enjoy. And I think it's lovely how we have this cute little program. I wish it was every day, but honestly, beggars can't be choosers, and at least they get it 3 to 4 or maybe 2 to 4 times. It depends per week. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. This is what the classroom looks like. While I was having that parent conference, the lights did turn off. So we don't have the cool little fact, but we do have everything else. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye, y'all. Hello everybody, welcome back. Today is Friday after school. It is currently 4:35 p.m. I'm gonna go home pretty soon to my baby, but y'all, because of the winter storm that is pretty much going to affect everyone in the United States, we have closed school for Monday the 26th. So I am super excited. We have another 3-day weekend. We just had a 3-day weekend because of Martin Luther King Day, and now we have another one because of the winter storm. But before I go on, I wish you guys pray and hope that you guys stay safe. If you don't have to drive anywhere, please stay home. Protect your pipes, protect your pets, protect your plants. Keep everyone hunkered down. Let's hope and pray that there is no Texas outages or power outages anywhere in the US, because trust me, I still have trauma from the Texas storm 2021 when we were literally without a week, without power, like anything. Like luckily my mom had gas so we could still cook some things, but anyone who had electricity, nothing. Like it was so bad. I remember being at HEB with my sister trying to buy like some bread or some eggs or something, and everything was out, and there was a huge line, and it was insane. Like, oh my goodness, people have trauma from that, y'all. And then people died because it was so cold, they didn't have anywhere to go. So definitely people are panic buying, and obviously I did go to Kroger yesterday, but my Kroger was not affected at all. So definitely check your Krogers, check your Sam's, check your stores, your Walmarts. There are definitely lots of places that have not been hit by like the panic buying. So just keep looking for food and resources, and stay warm, stay safe. But I am prepared myself. I got lots of snacks. I didn't buy no milk. I didn't buy no bread. I didn't buy anything that was perishable in case the lights and power goes out. But I bought lots of snacks, lots of cookies, lots of chips, things that I can actually open and put like in Ziploc bags and contain the freshness of it, and just things that are easy and don't need refrigerated, or you know, just things like water. I have water too, so I am prepared. I'm gonna hunker down with Cookie for the 3 days. Yay! Watch Netflix, catch up on my YouTube channels, catch up on everything that I've missed for the past like 2 months because I've been so busy. Today was the 100th day of school. Here, I'm showing y'all the 100 days of school. So we did have a cute little parade. Pre-K through 2nd grade actually makes like little banners, and then they walk around. 3rd, 4th, and 5th, since we're older, we just like clap them on, yay! I even recorded some clips for my school, so I'm gonna put them in a nice little video for them. Just super short, like 30 seconds, and then that's pretty much it. And then I do have these slap bracelets. They're like the ones from like our childhood. So unfortunately, I think my coordinator for the 100 days program, she got 3rd and 4th grade mixed up because she only gave us 48 of these stickers as well as the slap bracelets, but we have 57 students and 3rd grade has 47 students. So I think there was a miscommunication there, so I'm definitely going to ask next week on Tuesday if she has any extras left over, or if we can order some, so that way every student can get a slap bracelet or slap bracelet. Now, were these successful? Yes. But did some students try and hit people with them? Yes. So lo and behold, just be careful if you buy slap bracelets, because students might try to hit other students with it, and it doesn't hurt. But I mean, if you do it kind of hard, it will. But nonetheless, I did have to take away 2 of them because they were not making smart choices and not hitting their classmates with these. I know they're fun, but they're for your wrist, not for people. So some people still make bad decisions, even though they know not to do it. In other news this week, I updated my data anchor chart. We put it in the front office in our conference room. We have everybody's from pre-K to 5th grade, regardless of what they teach, what subject they teach, whether it's math growth or STAR interim or STAR task. And pretty much my 3 classes have consistently grown, especially my 3rd class. I think they grew the most with 23 points or maybe 27 points. I'm not sure, y'all can look at the picture here, but I'm so proud of them. I did take a picture so that way I can also post it on the wall here, so the kids can also know how well their class overall is growing, because for some reason we're now doing it by classes. In the previous years, or even in the previous semester, they actually did the whole 4th grade as a total count, but now they want to individualize. I'm not quite sure if they want to be like, okay, which class is specifically the strongest, which I can tell you is my 2nd class. They're pretty much 75%. There's only 2 or 3 students that are really academically low, And honestly, I have 2 students in there that have 504s, which are the same 2 students. So realistically, I really have about 1 student that is non-504 or non-IEP that is academically low. Everybody else is okay. I can definitely see approaches me and masters and more masters than anything. My second highest would be my homeroom. I have about 5 that are academically low, with 3 of those students having 504s, and then 1 student that is like Spanish speaking because she just came from Mexico. So I understand her situation. But my lowest overall class is my 3rd class. They have shown the most growth, so I'm very proud of them. But overall, they are still about 2 to 3 grade levels behind. So even though, yes, they are improving, they're still way behind of where they need to be. But again, I can only do so much. I am doing the very best I can each and every day. Now, to accommodate for the recess that they did lose, I am giving them 5 minutes when the weather is nice, when the floor or like the ground is dry, because we have been having rainy days, so the floor is very muddy. And I am not about to have these kids run around for 5 minutes, have mud on their shoes, drag it into the PE room or ancillary room or a library or art room, and then come back into my clean classroom because our custodian cleans during ancillary time, and then have them drag the mud back here. Absolutely not. So I tell them, in order for us to go to recess, it needs to be sunny. So it either needs to be a nice warm temperature, or the sun needs to be out on very specific cold days, so that way they can heat up with the sun. And the ground needs to be dry. So pretty much other than that, they can go outside for 5 minutes, and they do appreciate that. They say thank you every time. So I know they are super grateful for even 5 minutes. We used to have 15, but because of read a lot, unfortunately, we did have to push that back to 5 minutes. What I am currently doing is on Fridays, I'm doing it like fun free Friday. So I teach them the lesson. They work for 30 minutes, and then the last 30 minutes they can actually play all of the activities and all of the games that are available only on Fridays. And let me show you guys what I mean. So here is all the bins and activities and manipulatives for math class. Here are more of the math games and game games. And what I mean by game games is I have, for example, like headbands. Headbands is not a mathematical game. It's really more for indoor recess, fun days, activities. And what I have decided to do, because a lot of my students were confused throughout Monday through Thursday on what is a game and what is a math game, even though you would think they would know. If it has math, it's a math game. If it doesn't have math, it's not a math game. I have decided to make this simple little label. I just put tape, like that Gorilla tape, but it's not double-sided, just like regular Scotch tape, and then just a cute little post-it cut in half on Fridays. So now they know if it doesn't have that Friday label, you can play it any day of the week. If it does have, this one does not, so this one is Math Dash. If it does have a Friday label, that means they can only play it on Fridays. We also have craft paper that can only be on Fridays. Most of these little ones are just more games. For example, Guess Who, there's no mathematical game on that. Cha-Cha Tower, same thing. Multi-boards, Trouble, all of these have the Friday label on the upper corner, so that way they can officially say and confirm which ones are games or Friday games and which ones are math games that they can play throughout the week. I do have lots of math games. For example, we have all of these with especially the money, and then we also have the Math Dash that was really popular and is still popular. We have Shut the Box. We also have letter tiles that do not have the Friday labels because it is spelling and reading. And then I guess we have we also have the Shut the Box again. I do have lots of manipulatives, but unfortunately a lot of students started to rush through their work so they can play more of the fun manipulative section. For example, they love electricity. They love making the little light bulb shine, but I saw them, they were rushing and they were not completing their work so they can play with this. So I told them it's officially only on Fridays. Plus, I'm only the math teacher. I don't even teach science anymore. So this is really something that is unique only to Friday fun days. And then we also have rocks, minerals, and fossils. They love playing with this. And then they also love playing with the magnets. So I told them only on Fridays. But the 3D shapes is a very fun game for them. The geo models they love. Like they love the protractors and the magnifiers. They use that with the fossils. They like the fraction cubes. They like down here, I did put the pattern blocks and the money bills as Friday only. I put it on the side just because they did not fit right here, but Friday is specifically for these two. The other 6 fraction tiles, fraction cubes, the whole decimals, they can use that any day of the week. We did officially finish Elizabeth's Wish, and the students do want to read the remaining 3 books, which are these 3. But unfortunately, we will have to wait until after STAR because we are now doing Math a Lot instead of Read a Lot. I do have them put it in here. So right now, if I can show you guys, we've done warm-up 1, warm-up 2, and then we did warm-up 3. And we did finish warm-up 4 just today. So I will say about maybe another week and we will finish the rest. And then they'll do another one and another one and another one, so on. And then I do love that they are starting to know that around 2:30 it is Math a Lot time. And I don't even have to tell them to take it out. They just automatically take it out because they know that we have to do it every day. I went ahead and sharpened all the pencils so they are ready to go for when the students come back from the winter storm on Tuesday. And just like they say, you are never too old to learn something new, even as a teacher or as an adult. I'm gonna be honest, I never knew that there was an academic vocabulary for the word improper. I've been saying it for the past 2 weeks and pretty much for the past 3 years as a math teacher. This is all I knew, but I had a meeting with the Bluebonnet TEA coordinator, and she told me, oh, we don't actually say improper anymore. We say fraction greater than 1. I'm like, huh? I never knew that. I make sure to use the vocabulary, numerator, denominator, convert, but I'm gonna be honest, I never knew that there was a word change for improper. I've always known as a student or as a grown up, I'm a bit like, I feel kind of bad now for my 5th graders, for my students who are now 5th graders, because pretty much the entire time we were learning about fractions, I called it improper if the numerator was greater than 1. So oopsie, my bad. My kids still get confused between mixed number versus mixed fraction, and I tell them that a mixed number has to have a whole number with a fraction in it. So they got to get used to that. But today we learned about how to convert a mixed number to a fraction greater than 1. Yesterday was the opposite, and I did show them the trick. Here is one of my students' work. I taught them how to multiply the denominator with the whole number and then add the numerator, so 37 tenths. And then I also taught them how to decompose. So you decompose 3 into 1 plus 1 plus 1 wholes. And then each of those changes to 10 tenths plus 10 tenths plus 10 tenths. And then you add the original fraction, and then that will equal the exact same. So you can see how they're starting to connect the trick way. I call it my trick method, and then versus the Bluebonnet decomposing way. I did have my pre-conference today. It was only pretty much like 10 minutes. And I'm gonna be honest, I hate observations that are scheduled. I rather my principal just come in and observe me, because that is my normal, sorry, the sun or the light is in the way. That is my normal self. I hate observations because I feel too nervous and I feel like I have to be better than what I normally am, or I have to put on a dog and pony shows. But let me tell you, this year, I don't know. I'm gonna be the same as I always am. I'm not gonna put on anything extra. I'm not gonna plan nothing. I'm just gonna be like, here you go, come on in, watch me teach like you have been observing me, without telling me like, hey, I'm gonna come into your room like at 2:45 to observe you. Like, no. They come in at the most random times. I sometimes get them in the morning, sometimes get them in the middle of the day, sometimes get them at the end. Oh, that was the worst, y'all. I really hope they don't do those no more. In the morning, good. In the middle, great. And no. Like, absolutely not. So I officially scheduled my observation For February 5th, it's like a Thursday, so I feel like, you know, the kids are okay, but they're not too excited for the weekend, and they're not like, you know, like a little bit crazy. So they're pretty good on Thursdays. And then I scheduled it for my second class because my second class is the smartest class. But not only that, I feel like they're like the most participative. They're the most ones that she has seen me with, so they kind of know them, and they know her. And I also feel they're the ones that I feel more confident in. My homeroom, they're good, but I just feel like I still struggle with them in terms of differentiation. But my second class, they're pretty much on level except maybe 5 or 6. So I feel like I only have to struggle a little bit with them. I don't know, like that's my whole spiel. I would say my second class, I would pick out of all 3 classes to do my observation. So I feel good about that. Hopefully, you know, they're set in stone. But oh, I don't like it. I don't like, because now for the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna be thinking, what can I do? What can I do? What can I teach? How's it gonna go? What should I say? I hate it. So I'd rather she just comes in, watch me teach, and then goodbye. Like any other normal observation walkthrough that you normally do. Let me know if you guys like scheduled observations. Like, let me plan it so I know what she's gonna see. Or would you rather they just come in, watch me normally, like this is my normal day-to-day self, my normal, nothing dog and pony show, nothing extravagant, the lights turned off, extravagant, and just go on your day, right? So I don't know, I feel like I get too nervous now that it's scheduled. That is my cue to leave when the lights turn off. I'm just going to show you a couple more things and then I will get out. I did wanted to mention that we did officially, Miss Mary and I moved on to the second packet, which is on geometry. We have 25 questions. This one will definitely take about maybe 4 to 5 days. The other one took about 7 to 8 days just because it was a lot of working out multiplication and division and multi-step problems. But this one, since it's geometry, they either know it or they don't. There's not really anything to work out. For example, they have to know what this is. They have to know its array, and they also have to know its parallel lines. The only work that they can show is the definition of array is an endpoint with an arrow facing one direction. Parallel lines are lines that never cross or touch or meet. So that's the only really work that they can show. I'm still going to have them write their definition, but you can see there's protractor questions, missing angle questions, symmetry, especially symmetry, very important, line segment, point, angle, all of this we have talked about, and I'm very confident that they will do very good on this. After this one, we will move on to fractions, because by the time that we move on to fractions, we will have moved on to module 6, because we are actually on lesson 22. If you look at the agenda, the only 2 things that I have left to teach is comparing fractions and fractions on the number line. I have taught them everything else that they need to know for STAR from Bluebonnet. We are going to go back to lessons 9 to I think 13. That is the comparing side, and we are going to go back to lesson 5 to 6, I believe. That is the number line. So kind of we're skipping, but we're also coming back. The last thing I want to show you is here is my desk. It's a little messy just because I have the remaining of the 100-day stickers as well as these slap bracelets, but they're so cute, y'all. Look at them. They're so cute. They had lots of fun with them, especially in my homeroom. The other 2 classes were not able to get them just because we did not have enough to pass out. But the last thing that I want to give my students next week, especially since we are comparing fractions now, is this template. I'm going to give them the color version. I just need to give this to the front office because they're the only ones with color. But then I also want to give them a blank template so they can also practice using it as well. And then next week, I do want to really emphasize when they are done with their Bluebonnet activities, learn and succeed. I do want them to work on the fraction tile so they can build it using actual fraction tiles and manipulatives. So we can actually use these for a good purpose. We have all the way from 1/10, and I did see someone about a week ago actually create the full tower from 1 to 12. So that was really handy. I feel like these manipulatives really do help them. I just have to convince them to actually use them. We do have decimal disc, which we are going to use in module 6. And then we have whole disc for my 504 students who need it. And I'm actually going to teach them how to use it, so they can also use it on the STAR test, because they have accommodations for manipulations on the STAR test. All right, my lovely people, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Here's what the room looks like. The lights are turned off because at 5 o'clock they turn it off. I have not moved the bathroom sign, so let me know if you still want me to move it. But as of right now, I honestly don't care. But here is what the classroom looks like. This is my favorite little area. I have all these little knickknacks. They're so cute. If it focuses. And then I'm starting to collect these Disney ones. I gotta go to McDonald's every day to get all of them. And then I got this little cute post-it note from one of my students. We have like a school store, and they bought these little penguin notepads, and they gave me one. So precious, so cute. All right, y'all, that's it. I am gonna head on home, but I actually want to show y'all. This is the one that I decided to keep because it actually has a little protractor on it, even though protractors are not my favorite lesson to teach. But I just thought it was so cute. But look at the A, the light bulb, the backpack, the science. More science and art, honestly. But I don't know, something about that protractor just really captured my attention. The other ones are really cute because they have a little bus and a pencil. And this one is more like reading. It doesn't want to focus. Focus. Okay. It has books. So this one's like, I feel like too kiddish, like pre-K. And then, oh, that's the same one. And then there's one here. Look at this one. This one has a little trophy. I'm so cute. Oh my God, they're so cute. I can't wait to give these to the rest of my students when we have like enough to give out. I will see y'all later. Bye, y'all.